Okay, we're supposed to be live. I don't know if you got the notification yet.
I
That
think we are
we
live.
are live. Yes, we are. Let me just
Great.
pull
And I'm
up.
puffing here around.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find my thing. So, hi, everybody in the chat. Why am I? Okay. I was trying to find my live stream on my phone so I can see the chat on my phone, but whatever. It is what it is. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Raven Wolf channel. I have Anya today as a guest talking about pagan
Hello.
stuff. I look that I'm so far away from there. Maybe I need to get closer. Sorry.
Move
Oh my
close.
gosh, my whole setup is getting messed up. And it took me forever to get it all done. Whatever. It is what it is. So how are you, Anya? Thank you for being here today, talking
Thank
about
you for asking me. I was
interesting
happy.
things.
I
Um,
didn't think about that day.
well, as you know, it was like a spur of the moment kind of thing, right? I was asking you some questions, and then I was like, would you be willing to do a show with me, Anya? And here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah. Um, sorry if you guys can see a glare right here because I have my computer set in the front. But hi, Johan and Shannon. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. So I actually got inspired to do this video because, hold on, my thing is about to fall off. Okay, sorry. Because one of the little kids where I work, the mom picked the baby up early because she was gonna go get her ashes for Ash Wednesday. And I was like, oh yeah, today's Ash Wednesday. And I've always knew there was something more to Ash Wednesday, just like any other Christian holidays, right? The
Right.
Easter and all of that. So yeah, we're gonna give our input and our opinions, and the reason why I wanted to bring Anya is because um, there's a lot of Norse stuff going on here. That who's the best person to call when you have Norse questions? Of course, Anya. So so yeah, here we are.
Mwah,
And
everyone.
so before we start into the paganism about the Ash Wednesday and stuff, um, my upbringing was Catholic. I was born and raised in a Catholic family. And what about you? I think you also the same, correct?
Yeah, I grew well, my family wasn't really religious, luckily, but they made me go to church. And then like almost every school in Germany is Catholic, almost every, or the other one I forgot, always forget what it is in Protestant in English.
Yep.
Yeah.
Protestant. Yeah.
So, but it's mostly Catholic, right? So you have to go to church once a week and get the ash cross and what a Holy Communion and whatever is holy, right?
So you were also brought up in this cult. I mean, religion.
Yeah. Oops. Did you say that? No.
Oops. Okay. So yeah, me too. As a child, and I wonder why most people in Mexico are Catholic. I wonder why. Um, so yes, there's a lot of Catholicism in Mexico, and yes, I did the Ash Wednesday, but the Ash, and it was like, oh, you also, oh yeah, it was like a thing, right? Like you see your friends do it and your family and stuff, but um,
For me, it was cool because school was off.
yes, 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 yes. So let's talk a little bit. Hold on, let me see. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna screen share. Hold on. And hi everybody in the chat. I'm not looking at the chat right now. I'm trying to share
Hey,
something here.
everyone.
Okay, so I'm gonna share what a website here. So can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, so this is Catholic.org website. And for those of you that are not familiar with the Catholic religion and what Ash Wednesday is, I'm going to read over it a little bit. So Ash Wednesday is one of the most popular holidays in the liturgical calendar. Ash Wednesday is open to Lent, a season of fasting and prayer. Ash Wednesday takes place 46 days before Easter Sunday and is chiefly observed by Catholics all through many other Christian observed it too. Ash Wednesday, it says here, comes from the ancient Jewish tradition of penitence and fasting. The practice includes wearing ashes on the head. The ashes symbolize the dust from which God made us. As the priest applied the ashes to the person's forehead, he speaks the words, "Remember that you are dust, and to dust you will return. You shall return." Also, priests may speak the words of repent and believe in the gospel. Ashes also symbolize, here, let me move this out of the way. Ashes also symbolize grief, in this case, grief that we have sinned and caused division from God.
Mm.
I know you're doing this.
Sorry, I had something in my throat.
Of course. So it is important to remember that Ash Wednesday is a day of penitential prayer and fasting. Some faithful take the rest of the day or work off and remain home. It is generally inappropriate to dine out or shop or to go about public after receiving the ashes. Small children and elderly and sick are exempt from this. So, anyways, just wanted to share that from, Catholic.org website where it explains what it is. And so pretty much it's supposed to kickstart the Lent. So, and I don't know if, did you ever, when you did the Ash Wednesday, did you give out something that, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to give out luxury stuff, or, because I remember, I know it's going to be silly, but I remember like giving up hot sauce. Because I love hot sauce so much, I will give up hot sauce for the time of Lent. Of yes. So
Oh, I didn't.
no, okay.
I
Yeah.
went in, went out, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like, of course, when we went to church, we always had to throw some money in the basket, right? Or we started collecting at school. We got a little paper box right before that, like in the beginning of January. And then we had to collect our pocket money, whatever, fill it up, and then we had to give it away.
Mm.
That's how they train you well. Give your money away.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes. Nice. So, okay. Now, what is your, well, now that I know more than I did before about the Catholic religion and about how it's linked with pagan holidays and celebrations and stuff, it makes me wonder, we have our third eye and it's covered in a cross with ashes.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, now, not seeing from a Catholic religion, but just from, the spiritual realm side, I'm thinking you're blocking your third eye with a cross, kind of like a sigil, right?
Yep.
So what
That's
is
what
your
it is.
opinion?
That is totally my opinion. And it gets like totally reversed because actually the fire and ashes, they have a very high value in North or in a Germanic tradition. Even some say there was no Germanic tribe, which is crap. I mean, I'm coming from somewhere. But even when you get baptized, they do that. And that's actually something, in my opinion, and from what I feel, they close your third eye. So for me, there is no connection. And back in the days, for them, fire was very. I mean, it still is for me too, right? Like fire. I mean, as they say, like the world was created in fire, with fire and ice, of course. But again, we have the fire, right? And they used to put ashes from fire on their fields for fertility of the fields. It was like fire was a symbol for rebirth and letting go of the old. And also, what I find interesting is that in the north, in the Edda, there was a what was it? Not Loki. Logi. He was a fire giant, and it. I don't know if it has anything to do with it. It just it caught my attention, kind of. I don't remember the whole story, just a little, but because we start the feasting right with that ash cross thingy until the Good Friday. I mean, I don't, but I'm just saying. And you're not supposed to eat and give everything away and blah. And there, like I said, this fire giant Logi and Loki, they did a competition. Frick, it's after 8. I can't speak English anymore. They had a competition in eating, like who would eat faster and who would eat the most, right? So, and the same time, of course, fire was burning. So I find it kind of interesting, right, that they now start the feasting with it, and also the old Germanic cultures, they had the Dona from Thor symbol, and which is like pretty much the hammer of Thor, and we know it's the hammer, it's on the bottom, but if you turn it around, it almost looks like a cross.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
I mean, this is just my opinion. I don't have any historical proof, right, of that they took it away. And with
Well,
all respect, you got to be careful. Not everything was taken away. Like a lot of what I find out in research, a lot of my that guy in Germany who also used the rill, I can't say the name.
mm-hmm.
He put out the word too. Oh, that's a Germanic tradition. This is a Germanic tradition. So,
Well, like the practice of putting ashes on forehead has been known from ancient times, and not only the Germanic people do it, but also, and we're gonna go into that in a little bit. In India, the Vedas, um, but in the Nordic pagan religion, well, and I kind of fact check with this with Anya. Placing ashes above one's brow was believed to ensure protection from the Norse god Odin. Correct?
they had some holiday, some celebration days, but they're not exact on on February 1st. You can say they were between in the beginning of February and the middle of March. So because it's not the exact day, it changes.
And then,
So what they did in March, what you think, I believe, is that they had to, which was mostly March. It was the beginning of spring, and that was to honor Odin or Thor or Freya. She was a fertility goddess, right? So so they kind of had to sacrifice animals back then or whatever, right, to be protected.
and there's something interesting that Anya and I kind of agree on, because they say that Wednesday is Odin's day. So also that's why supposedly the Catholic took the Wednesday, or the tradition comes from that Wednesday because it's Odin's. But one thing that Anya and I agree is that back then they didn't had, oh, today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know. So I don't buy into that and then that's and everything that we're talking about is, you know, Anya's opinion, my opinion, and I should have said this at the beginning, but we're not trying to offend any Catholic people that are practicing, you know, we're just giving our opinions of what we think, what we believe. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
trying to find the connection, right?
yes.
So
So, so like I was saying, the Vedic Indian religion also practices ashes, and they believe that is the seed of Agni, which is the Indian fire god. And I can show you guys a picture of Agni if I can screen share in a minute. Okay, so I think you guys can see that, right?
oh, interesting.
Let me see. So yes, Agni is the fire god in the Vedic religion. Let me see.
Like the three goddess, the
Right, um so the Indian fire god Agni, it's formed the name of Latin that used for fire, ignis, which is Ignis. It is from this root word the English language got the word ignite, ignis, or ignition. Agni was said to have the authority to forgive sins. Ashes were also believed to be symbolic for purifying the blood of the Vedic god Shiva, which is said to have the power to cleanse sins. And let me show you guys. Here, I'm gonna have to. I don't know if you guys can see or not. Can you see Shiva?
no, I just still see the
Okay, let me stop screen share and share again. Okay, so that's Shiva. Um,
looks
so
like a horn.
yes. So again, and this cultures, they've been practicing this for a long time. Oh shoot, hold on. Okay, yeah, for a long time. Oh yeah, and then hold on, I made some notes. So apparently, it's not mentioned in the Bible. None of the apostles observe it. Nowhere are Christians commanded to keep it. It was not even official about practicing the Ash Wednesday until nearly 1,000 years after Christ resurrected. So, like many other non biblical Christian customs, it has pagan roots.
You see, then February 1st, it's Imbolc, right? And that stands actually too for new beginnings, for the light. I mean, the light and water. It's, yeah, it's for the cleansing. And that's dedicated to earth, right? Which makes sense too with the ashes to ashes, kinda.
Right.
And the Vikings that they used to in Sweden, they used to have thing meetings, for example, during that time, and they did, yeah, like sacrifice celebration. That means a lot of meat was right, and but they also celebrated where those goddesses, what were they called? Disen, I can't pronounce the word, Disen, and they were pretty close, like the Volkayas or the Norns. So they were celebrating them
Hmm.
as well, and that's like the divine helpers, right? Which I find interesting. But like I said, that was more the beginning of February.
Hmm. Yeah, and like I said, this Ash Wednesday thing supposed to start with the Lent, which is a period of 40 days preceding the observance of Easter, where the observers are expected to fast and cease from having the use of other luxury stuff, like I was mentioning, me was hot sauce, whatever. like the majority of modern so-called Christians practices, it's is it can't be traced back to the heathen practices like you were mentioning. So I don't know, because I don't think you practice the Catholic religion as you know as you were growing up, right? That was just when you were a child that you
I
were.
wasn't even practicing it then. I was always the black sheep. Like when it came to Holy Communion, we had to go to school to practice, right? How to go and blah. And
Mm,
I always got there late and rotten dirty because I was always playing outside. So I was always sent home because my hands were dirty, right? So I got away.
mm. Well, what I was gonna say with me, I did practice. I was a Catholic for a while till I was, I don't know, 20 something. So, and not only with this Ash Wednesday, but with other Catholic celebrations or holidays, um, it kind of upset me to know that it upset me because it comes from a pagan origin, and it doesn't upset me that it comes from a pagan origin. It upset. I can't freaking
Blah,
talk.
blah.
It makes me mad because we were lied. I was lied to. I was lied to, believing that the Catholics came up with this, and they hate all paganism stuff, and yet
They take a little here and a little there, and that's what drives me nuts about
yes,
it. And
yes,
isn't it also, from what I remember, correct me when I'm wrong, but from what I remember, it's like this is like the ash cross that day is like the beginning where, like, that's how we got it explained, that Adam and Eve were banned out of the paradise. And then
for their
on, we
sins.
call it Green Thursday, that's a day before Good Day. Uh, they were let back in. I mean, so that's us. We got banned from the paradise for the sins, and then we're gonna be let in because
We repent.
someone, yeah.
We repent.
So, so that's this whole sinner thing just makes me mad.
Yeah.
No one is born with sin.
Yeah, and that's another thing because I never understood as a child, and I remember asking my parents because I mean my parents they're very religious Catholic, but anyways that's another story. I always will ask them, well, why will you baptize a baby? And the answer will always be the same, because they were both born with the original sin. Okay, that
Right?
never resonated, that never made sense, like a baby, an innocent baby is born automatically, oh, there's shit I look, we're born with the sin, so we gotta get baptized. Like, no.
No, it isn't. And I don't know if I ever told you that. It's a little not off topic, but I was forced to baptize my daughter because everything in Germany where I used to live after I came back from the States was in Catholic hand, like everything, kindergarten, school, everything. So in order for me to bring her to the kindergarten or preschool, it's in America, right? Preschool is kindergarten in Germany. So anyways, where they go with three. And I was like, what? I'm not member of the church. Well, if you wanted to go to school, I'm like, oh God. I say, not enough that you have to put her in that system. No, you're right. Because in Germany, homeschooling isn't allowed. So, anyways, so I'm like, okay, I get it over with, right? And I got there myself with my daughter. And he was like, no family. I'm like, no, just get it over with. He was like, okay. I'm like, just do your little ritual there and I'm done so I can do my thing. What do you mean? I'm like, do your ritual and I do my thing. Okay. And he was probably like, right. And then he did his and I did mine after talking, blessing, blah, right. And he was like, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm taking off what you put on there. He was like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, it covers the third eye. That's what it's doing. He was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, and that's another problem. Most of you don't even know what kind of rituals you continue doing. So you're closing the third eye, in my opinion. I say, I'm a witch. And he was like,
You said that? Oh my God.
yeah, I didn't give a shit. So I say, and this
Did
is,
he sprinkle you with holy water?
yeah, he probably took a bath after. He probably dived right in and sprinkled himself. I don't know. So, I mean, I didn't care. I did mine. And then it was done and she could go to school, right? But it's just so retarded. It's like, so you get forced into religion again just to go to school? Like, hello.
Well, that kind of sounds familiar. I know a little bit. It's similar to nowadays with the vaccine stuff. You know, they're passing laws left and right that you have to have vaccines to go to school as the new religion.
It's crazy. I'm just answering Stefan. He just told me
Oh,
his family is from Bamberg.
my nose is itching.
Yeah, no, it's all forcing. And why would you have to force some belief? I mean, why? Why can't people just believe?
And
And
like
that
I
shows,
said, go ahead.
sorry.
Sorry.
No, and that shows me again that something is going on, right? Covering everything. Like I always like to talk that we have the knowledge in us, or you say that too, talking, communicating with ancestors, or carrying on the rituals, our rituals, right? And and that gets totally blocked. I mean, who cares? And then at same school, when Shelley went to school, I got called in from work. They called me off work. I thought something happened. You need to come right now. I'm like, what happened? You need to come.
You're
And
like
I'm
freaking out, like, okay, what's wrong?
freaking out. I'm like, to my boss, I'm sorry, I have to take off, right? I'm like, went in there. I'm like, what happened? Shelley's sitting there, my daughter, right? And I'm like, what happened? Well, we need to talk. We had religion today. It's the main subject. And
Yes,
I'm like,
how I go.
I'm like, oh my fucking god, don't, right? I'm like, yes. She was like, well, we talked about May 1st and celebrations, and your daughter started talking about some heathen festival. I'm like, oh, Beltane. I say, yeah, we celebrated Beltane on the weekend with friends, with a big fire and barbecuing and all. Why? Well, I told her that is not a holiday and she doesn't have to talk about it. I'm like, why not? And she was like, well, that's besides the point. But she said, then God is stupid. I looked at my daughter, looked at the teacher, and tried very hard not to burst laughing. I'm like, I'm trying to stay really professional, serious with her, right? I'm like, I said, I have a question for you. She was like, yeah. I said, is there anything else coming? Did she throw something at you or no? I'm like, so let me get this straight. You're calling me off work, half a paycheck of mine, to tell me that my
Something like
daughter
that.
told you God is stupid because she wasn't allowed to talk about her holiday, which I see other nationalities in this class. So say, do me one favor, don't you ever do that again, ever, or else I make you pay. Well, you need to talk to her. I'm like, no, she can pick whatever she likes to believe in. I said,
Yeah,
and if she believes in the unicorn with wings, I don't care. Like,
right.
ugh.
And she was a child, anyways.
What?
And she was a child.
Yeah, she was like 7, 6 or something. Like, give me a break.
Like I said many times before in other streams, I never felt closer to God, the Creator, than you know when I was practicing being Catholic, and even when I left the Catholic religion, I just went to Christian, to Christian, spirit-filled Christian churches. I always felt like I was not worth it, but not holy. There's a word. I can't think about it. Good enough for God. I was in the Catholic religion. I was a sinner, and because I was living with my ex husband, which he was my boyfriend at the time. I was living with him, so I was living in sin, right? In fact, the Catholic religion would not want to marry me because, anyways, there's certain rules that you have to go and certain classes and blah blah blah, and that was a disappointment for me. And not being holy enough, I always be a sinner. I was never good enough. I never felt closer to God. Now, also, with the religion of Christian and Catholic, and I'm just talking about my experience. You might,
Mhm.
if you're a Christian and you don't have any of these experiences, awesome for you. I'm just talking about my experiences and why I went through my life practicing being a Catholic and just being a Christian. Like I said, I felt like I was the guilt, right? Um, not only guilt, but what's the word I'm trying to find? I don't know. But yeah, feeling like I said, like I'm not good enough, that, God always looked down on me because I'm doing this, or because I do that, or because whatever. I never felt closer to God than now, which now I don't practice no religion. Closer to
Yeah.
God than I ever was before, ever in my life. So,
And
I
it's it,
mean,
it's how can you love a source, is a God or whatever you call it, if you're in constant fear?
yeah,
Like, how can you be free and live that and do those celebrations if you're constantly sitting there, oh, did I do that right?
yeah,
And
yeah. You're
and I would
not fear. You can't be who you truly are from the soul core, because you're fearful of, if I, because I like crystals, the church will look is frowned upon because that's pagan stuff, that's witch stuff, that's no. So, anyways, I don't want to keep rambling about that, but
no,
I
and it's not
personally,
about the people believing in God or living that. It's just really that institution behind it, right? That's what gets me. So
and then learning about the Mayas and getting into that and knowing what the Catholic religion did to all of this native cultures around the world is just heartbreaking. And for me, religion is not for me. So if it's for
not for
you,
me neither.
awesome. If it works for you, awesome. But it's not for
And
me.
and I'm thinking, that whole religion thing separates us all. And if we not be separated so much with opinion and false statements, we would realize that we are that source at one point. I mean, that sounds weird, but that's just a thought I have had, because I had it since yesterday.
Oh
I
wow,
mean,
that's awesome.
we are actually creating, right? And manifesting. We're all talking about it constantly, and it's possible. And but I'm thinking more and more, if we wouldn't be just pulled apart, if we would all stick together, we could do so great. We wouldn't have all that trouble.
Yeah,
I mean, we are coming from the real, and and that's why it makes sense that we are that creator. We are the source. We are responsible.
that's right. That's right. No,
And I think I would burn for that.
I think so too, Anya. I actually think so. I actually know that you would. you know? But anyways, this is just a little video that, or a live stream that I got inspired to do today, and I called Anya, and I'm sure she had something to say. She's very knowledgeable in Norse mythology and Norse culture, or I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know.
I'm not a Dr. Jackson Crawford. He would probably laugh his ass off listening to me,
No,
but
but it's from, from what your knowledge. That's why I like bringing you, because you have your inner knowledge, your ancestral knowledge.
yeah,
And
that's what it is most, right?
yes, and I trust what you say. So
Thank you.
that's why I bring you here. But anyways, is there anything else you want to mention about Ash Wednesday, about the Norse, or anything related with that?
No, just the fire. I like the fire too, and it's been used in so many tradition back beyond, right? like I said, of fire and ice, everything was made in regards to Noah's tradition. Fire, and for me, fire cleanses, fire builds. And on Samhain, for example, you make a fire to guide the spirits, to show them the way to leave this realm and move on. So it's so big. I really like the fire. And like I said before, and the ashes were thrown on the fields with a donut, with a Thor sign, right? To protect and for fertility. So fire is always good. And here we have again, oh, sin. I don't understand. Fire is not bad if you know how to control it.
Right. And it's just an element. So, anyways, thanks everybody in the chat. I was not reading too much in the chat because I wanted to pay attention to the conversation that Anya and I were having, and we hope that you took something out of this, and I hope I didn't offend anybody.
No, it's really not about offending. It's really just about that institution above it, right? Not about the belief that people have.
Right.
I mean, I have friends. They believe in Jesus. They believe in Christ. They believe in God. They're good people, and that's not what I'm saying. It's really just that institution twisting everything.
Right.
So, and everybody has that spirit or source that helps them to move on. Like I said, it's just a shame that those above, those institutions, those cult leaders, and it doesn't matter what religion, separate us. Like when we have all the same knowledge, the same light.
Yeah, I agree. But again, once again, thank you, Anya, for being here, for being a guest. If you guys haven't subscribed to Anya, which I don't know if you watch me, how come you haven't? But if you haven't subscribed to Anya, please check her out. Her information, her link to her channel is in the description box. And yeah, so thank all of you guys for being here, for watching us, and we'll see you guys
thank
soon.
You guys.
Bye everybody.
Bye.